Being a silent rebel, aka using the natural skills that you have as leverage. Because the things that make you unique, weird, quirky, is actually the reason why you're going to succeed in your art. Let's talk about it. The thing is, everybody has leverage. Everybody has special things about them. Their past, what they love to do, how they were raised, what they learned. The problem is most people just don't know that they have leverage. A lot of people sit around and say, I have parents who were in this industry that I can go and ask and just get connections. We just kind of sit and wonder, what can I use to give myself the leverage to actually succeed as an artist? But the thing is, everybody actually has it. You have leverage. Leverage can be so many different things. Just the sheer fact that you have a college degree can be leverage and is leverage. Kind of used to take that for granted. I grew up in a very affluent town where everyone went to college, and so I just shook it off and was like, everyone has a college degree. And then I realized, wait, no, like not everyone has a college degree. And the fact that I have a degree probably gives me some sort of leverage to be able to get certain jobs, which is neither here nor there. I don't know if I necessarily agree with that. Leverage could also be as simple as, I've worked as a waitress. Okay, well now you have service experience. Going a step further, let's say that you majored in computer science. I majored in theater, but I know that there were some people who would go to college and they're like, my parents didn't let me major in theater, so I have to major in something that actually is like more legit, or whatever they said. They would major in something like business or computer science. That is leverage. Now you could find a job that I can't get. You can actually find a job, probably a remote job, that pays really well, that you can save up money to invest back into your artistic venture later. So you might have thought, oh, well, I don't have a degree in theater, I don't have a degree in art, whatever artistic pursuit you want, so I don't really know how to get started. You actually have amazing leverage if you didn't major in art, because now you have the ability to actually make money, which is not something that a lot of artists can do. We're trying to rewrite that here, but that is your ability to be a silent rebel. And I will explain that definition in a little bit. Your leverage can literally be the fact that you like to wake up early. I'm just trying to bring it on so many different levels, right? You have a certain work experience, literally just a passion of yours, or something that you feel like not everyone can do. That is leverage too. That means that you can get started on the day early, you can get started on work earlier, and you can have a lot more time during the day then to spend on your creative pursuits. Imagine if you're working a full-time job or you're freelancing and you started working at 7 a.m. instead of 10, like a lot of freelancers like to do. You're done with the workday at like 2 o'clock. You can spend the rest of the day doing what you want, relaxing, working on your art. That is leverage too. I just want you to understand that leverage is the qualifications you have, the degree you might have, the time you've spent in something, your work experience, or just something that makes you you. I really want you to dig deep and really think back to, wait, what are the things that actually make me special? Because there's a lot. Back a little bit, I want you to see my candle. There's a lot of things that make you special, and they make you special not only as a creative, but as somebody who has the potential to actually make money and be a full-time creative. So let's break down, what is your leverage? Make a list, type it on your phone, however you want to do it. How many things can you list out that just makes you you? Things that you have done. You graduated high school? That is leverage. Not everyone has graduated high school. You graduated college? That's leverage. List out all the jobs that you've done, all the experience you have, passion projects you've done, experience, jobs, education, all of these things that you might shake off and be like, everyone's done that. No, not everyone has done that. And that you can use for your advantage to actually help you progress in your artistic field. Use this as an example. So you grew up in the city, right? That is your leverage. So your silent rebel skill is you have a great network of connections that you can ask for guidance. I went to school for a year in New York City. I mean, even growing up near the city, I'm so lucky to have a lot of contacts who have been on Broadway, who have been in television shows. That is sheer leverage. I didn't ask for that. That is something that I was very blessed to have in my life. That could also be leverage for you. Things that you're like, damn, I'm so lucky that this happened in my life. That is also leverage, like things that you were given. There's so many connections that I have from the city, actors and musicians and things like that, that I would have never had if I had lived somewhere else. Equally, if you had lived somewhere else, it's definitely experience that you have that I don't have. Another example is, again, went to college, just went to any college, 4-year university, 2-year university, that lets you apply to some jobs with a higher barrier to entry. I used to substitute teach, and you need at least an associate's degree to do that. And substitute teaching is a great gig for artists. Not everyone can do that because not everyone has a college degree. So even the sheer fact that if you have an associate's, that's now less competition for you. What jobs could you find to help you kind of build up to that next level? Whether that's saving up some money or just like making sure ends meet, like wherever journey you're at with that, like that is leverage. You can play the guitar, like something as simple as you can play the guitar, even if that's not your main thing. You can teach guitar. What things can you do that you can teach? Now I want to break down this definition because I've been saying the phrase silent rebel, and I've also been saying leverage. And I know leverage, silent rebel is catchier, so I'm like, ooh, that's cute. Let's break down like what I mean by this, because there's a specific way that you go about it. So there's the silent part, right? Like, why am I saying silent? Silent does not mean don't tell anybody what you're doing. Like, that's not what that means. What that does mean is tell trusted friends who you feel safe about experiments with. When I say experiments, I talk about this part of your creative journey when you're just figuring out, okay, I want to be a full-time artist, and now I need to figure out like how I go about this. And during that journey, there's this kind of birth energy. You're birthing something new, and I've talked about it before, but like when you are in the birthing process, I imagine, I've never done it, but I imagine you probably don't want everybody there. You don't want it like broadcasted. You want a few select people to just be like, hey, this is a big transition and I'm gonna tell you how it's going moment to moment, but I kind of want to keep it sacred. When you are in that first phase of your artistry, when you're just figuring out like, what do I want to do? What are my goals? Feel free to not have to overshare with that. If you feel like you need to share, then maybe find like a few trusted friends to just talk about your journey with. That's definitely very important. I definitely say like, don't do this alone. 2020 happened. I was like right in the middle of acting school and everything closed. And I was kind of like, I want to have this next step. I started being fed like all this information about you can make money online and you can start a blog and all this stuff. I think I made the mistake that I was telling everyone, I was like, I'm gonna start a blog and I'm gonna do this and I'm gonna do that. And I was just throwing crap against the wall. And it bit me in the butt because then I would lose interest in something, or I would find out, you know what, this isn't aligned. I felt like, oh, everyone's gonna see that I just said that I did this and I'm not doing it. That's kind of what I mean by like the silent part. You're figuring out your strategy right now as a creative. Don't place pressure on yourself to make everything perfect. Nothing is gonna be perfect, and that's totally fine. That is exactly how it should be. Trust the process and maybe don't overshare. Let's move on to the rebel part, because you're not really being rebellious to other people. What I mean by this is the thing that makes you different. It's not saying I'm better than so-and-so because I could wake up early. It's really saying, how can you challenge yourself against yourself? The only person you're comparing to in this is you. And that's something that I had to take like 6 months off of social media because I was comparing myself to everyone. I would say, oh my goodness. And there's still people in my life where I see, oh my God, so-and-so is on a TV show and why am I not there yet? So-and-so released this many songs and why am I not there yet? What rebellious also means is that you're rebelling to these confines of like the typical way of doing things. I've always heard of the phrase starving artist. And I talk a lot on this channel about how I want to really look at things a different way. This part of you're rebelling against this idea that if you're a creative, you have to constantly be struggling and you're always going to be inching to get by and you have no money and you're working minimum wage jobs. That's the rebel part of this, is that you're being silent because you're really focused on this like outcome. You're not kind of distracting yourselves with, this is what I'm doing, this is what I'm doing. See everyone, I'm doing it right. No, you're staying focused because you don't need to tell people. You're in the path to success, you don't need to announce it. There's a humility to that, but then you're rebelling against this idea of, you know what, I'm actually not gonna be a starving artist. I'm not not gonna talk too much about how yet because I'm still experimenting that, but I'm gonna rebel against this idea that our artists have to be starving. Ultimately, being a silent rebel is just, you're using leverage. What leverage do you have? What skills do you have that can differentiate yourself? But there is this magic behind these two words of the silent, of just really focused, trusting this whole birthing process, keeping your community really tight and close, and then rebel and saying, you know what, I'm gonna silently rebel against this, the confines of being a starving artist. I know in my soul that I don't need to be one. I don't know how, but you don't need to know the how. All you need to know is the why. Why do I want to do this? because of your love for your art. So I talk about artist productivity. What does this have to do with artist productivity? First things first is that it helps you build recurring income. If you have this goal, rebelling against this concept that you have to be a starving artist, going down this path could help you find a consistent job. That's why I always say, when you're starting, the first step is cozy girl job, okay? Because I talk all about, oh, well, you'll have, if you're able to kind of batch create all your work, then you could spend more time as an artist, but you gotta find the cozy girl job first. And this kind of goes in line with Tim Ferriss's The 4-Hour Work Week, when he talks about, okay, you wanna work for 4 hours a week, first thing you need is you gotta get a remote job. And that's what I'm saying here. A cozy girl job is kind of the artist version of that, is you want a remote job. You also want a job somewhat in like digital marketing or something creative where you already have a natural knack for it. If you didn't go to school for computer science, if you went to school for computer science, then freaking find a job in computer science and make like 200 grand a year. A cozy girl job is basically just the idea that a skill that you already have that's very easy for you that you can do online. That builds up the recurring income. And when you have recurring income, you're then not worrying about money. You're not worrying about, oh my goodness, when does my next paycheck come? Because I know that feeling, and I cannot focus on writing music. I cannot focus on anything if I don't know where my next paycheck's coming from. Finding your silent rebel skill also, in turn, from getting this recurring income, gives you more time for your art. Because now that you're at home, now that you're in a super cozy job and you can work from anywhere, you have more energy to give back to your art. I mean, if I was working anywhere else and I had to come home and then write music, I would be exhausted. I don't know how you feel after you come home from a long day of work, but I bet it's probably not like, yeah, let's work some more. When I'm at home or when I go to a coffee shop and I'm just kind of chill and working, I'm like, yeah, let's write some music. Like I'm chill, I'm relaxed. And that's kind of what, that's that next phase. Differentiating yourself and finding the silent rebel skill also helps you with building a community. And this might not directly have to do with your art, but it does relate to you as a human being. And as an artist, we are community-driven people, so it probably does. Being an artist is very lonely, it's very alienating. There's lots of family members who will ask us questions and we're like, you don't get it. Like, you don't get it. When you're able to find leverage, you're then able to more easily identify the things that you love and implement that more into your daily routine. It might not directly relate to your artistic career, but once I kind of understood, like, what are the things that make me really special? What are the things that I love? I was able to monetize some of those. Okay, I have a degree in theater. I took a lot of writing classes so I can be a blog writer. But then I also said, okay, that can actually help me engage in more of a community. I was a gymnast, and now I have a nice little yoga community where I go to hot yoga classes. Once you've identified these silent rebel skills, it's really just showing who you are more as a person and an artist and leaning more into that. I need tea. This can also help you find mentors. So if you have identified, I grew up in a big city and I have a lot of connections in that city, maybe that will invite you to say, you know what, maybe I should ask one of them to see if they would mentor me or if I could pay them to coach me a little bit. There's different ways that you can kind of find, like, who are people that I know, teachers who taught me, or people who I went to school with, who I can ask for help from. Those silent rebel skills can also help you build a business plan. If you know that, okay, you majored in computer science, then you can say, you know what, I'm gonna find a remote job in computer science, I'm gonna make a crap ton of money, I'm going to save that money, and I'm going to invest that into a course on how to become a full-time Etsy shop owner, and I'll start that in 6 months or something like that. You can start actually building upon that business plan. This is really all about, what are the skills that I have? Because I think a lot of people forget. I have a lot of friends who will literally be like, I don't know anything, I don't have any skills, and I'm like, bro, you've been doing X for 20 years. Like, not everyone can do that. You can get paid to do that, or you can use that to help you get to the next part of your artistic career. We all just forget about the skills that we have, and that's why a lot of us don't actually pursue our artistic pursuits, because it's not that we don't have the skills. Everybody has these silent rebel skills. Everybody has leverage, but not everyone sees that and uses it to actually benefit their creative journey. If you can actually make a list of all of the skills that you're good at, the qualities about you. You know, the fact that you're really flexible might be leverage because you can teach a stretching class locally. If you can comment like one silent rebel skill that you have down below, I could find a way to make it work for you in your artistic career. Like comment a silent rebel skill below and the dream artist career that you're pursuing, like songwriter, artist, graphic designer, whatever that might be. We can make something work. By the way, if you like this video, I'd love if you considered subscribing and thumbs upping this video so other people like you can see it. I'm weird about asking people to do that, so I'm just gonna say everything is leverage. You probably are just like, I watched this video that's however many minutes long it is and all she's been saying is leverage, but it's true. Everything you have is leverage. I want you to remember that you genuinely have so much leverage. It's unbelievable. You have so many silent rebel skills that you might be sitting on. And that's because no one really taught us to really look at our skills and say, hey, I could use that for that. I could use that for that. We were put into school and we were told to take multiple choice tests and write essays about books. That was probably helpful in some way. I don't think we were ever really told that we should list out every single thing that makes us special, all of these points of leverage, and figure out how we can use that to pursue our goals. Like, isn't that an amazing thing? You're sitting on so much talent just by being you. You are enough right now. You have everything you need to get started, and you did not even know it before this video. And I am so excited for you to find that for yourself and to go venture onto your artistic journey with excitement now that you know you genuinely have everything you need to succeed. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye.